All right, good morning. Week, happy Monday. So we have a trend reversal that happened last week. And we've got prices up into an area where they should try and make a turn or a sell setup, which is typically a difficult day, which I'll explain. First of all, charts. Good thing somebody always reminds me. This one. Okay, here we go. Oh, as those that have been here for a while know, we do not use trend lines. We don't use fib lines. We don't use anything but price and these pivot lows and pivot highs to determine a trend and when a trend changes. And it's really simple because we all know the definition of an uptrend: higher highs and higher lows. So to change that, it's got to break below a prior low. And we define that low specifically to be what we call major support, which is the low prior to a higher high, which is actually this one. Right? Because this one, so this is where the trend initially broke, and then it retraced all the way back up. So it became a sideways trend at that point in time. Now this moved down, slash through 1, 2, 3, almost 4 pivot lows. So while this hasn't marked itself yet as lower highs and lower lows, common sense says view this with your bias as a downtrend. And that's what we do. Once we view something as a downtrend, the next step is, well, look for a sell setup to continue the downtrend. Well, we had this blast off last week into this resistance area, wide range bars, and this is the futures 24 hours. We'll take a look at the cash markets because they look different. And so there's a relatively deep retracement, but now it's in an area where it should make a turn. So the question starts to now become, the unknown. We ask questions about what's the unknown. If it was, we knew what it already was, we wouldn't ask questions, of course. The question is, does this make a higher low? Does it go sideways here, act bullishly? Does it go down and break the lows? So we look for clues. Oh, we've got this bottoming tail bar on the weekly time frame, and it looks different on different charts, but we've got lots of these bottoming tail weekly bars that have occurred. So as we look at this one, you say, well, I don't know that made a higher high. I don't think so. So that's major support, but it violated a pivot. And we've got a wide range bar. And so far, prices are in the lower 50% of that bar. So this chart has been damaged. And so now we're waiting. Does this turn? We've got this opposition of a bearish wide range bar versus a range expansion bottoming tail bar, which kind of puts us in a tough place as far as trend continuation at the moment. And of course, today is just beginning to make a turn, and we don't know what this bar is going to look like, but an obvious place where sellers were aggressive, where they pushed up to. And now we've got an hourly chart that is still in an uptrend. And the reason why turning days are difficult is because you have a misalignment of time frames. So we've got at times an uptrend on the weekly, a downtrend on the daily, the retracement on this daily, and we still got an uptrend on a long-term intraday time frame. In this case, I use the 60 MA. So until some things come into alignment, it's likely to be choppy again. Well, that's where we're at. The 5-minute is in a downtrend here, and that's the reversal here, and it's going to come down to, well, we'll see how significant this is, but ultimately that's our major support point. Now, what I'm explaining here, you could apply it to anything that you can chart. It's relatively simple. It's a clear method of doing trend analysis without any indicators or lines. Stop using logic. It doesn't apply. right? Well, with all the garbage that's out there, that tells you it's logical, but anyway. So let's just look at the Dow. I'll get to SPX. Right. And so you see the momentum of the move off of the low, pretty strong. It's got the same bottoming tail bar. It's still in the lower half of the wide range bar. Now, this pivot high, that came down to major support, but it didn't close below it. This did. And this is where multiple time frame analysis can become confusing, in that it's not confusing if you understand, hey, these different time frames operate differently. But when they all come into alignment, that's when you really have the odds on your side. Meaning, well, this was going up, at times where, this was going up in a, I don't know what the right word is here, with certainty and with fluidity, versus where it got, schizophrenic over here, whipping up and down. You've got the daily time frame moving up, and you've got the weekly time frame moving up, and then of course intraday, if you have, of course, the hourly moving up, which it wouldn't be here. But this is the opportune moments where you've got these two in alignment, and the hourly starts to come down, and they start to make the turn. So now we've got a situation where this is broken down. This is questionable, right? This is popped up, and well, this is not trading intraday here, right? It's probably come down a bit, but you see where we're going with this, and that today is likely to be a bit of an erratic day while traders figure out, is this really going to turn? How much might it go down? Where will today end? So, the bias for today is be nimble. Don't get too attached to, right at the moment, what is a turn down from what was higher. So if this was at the close, at the end of the day, and we saw a bar that broke above two prior highs, hit resistance, came in, it'd be short below the low. This isn't over yet. This is coming down, right, getting closer to major support where there are going to be buyers. And when it gets down there, they're going to show up. And then, well, how far does it retrace? Right? Does it turn this back into a green candle at the end of the day? So there is this level of uncertainty. Oh, you are all right. Oh, thank you. I thought you were asking me, am I all right? Like, am I acting crazy here today? Be flexible, right? Right. What is that? The thing, Bruce Lee, be like water. And I tell you, as an intraday trader, especially today, you better be like water. Just change. But hey, we got, this moving down to support, downtrend, buyers stepping up here already. And so, I'm not going to repeat myself. You got where we're at here today. All right, SPX. You can actually some premium up here, which, based on the move down here this morning, I should be a safe level, but 44.85, it's a little too close for comfort, to be quite honest. But, it's already been up there, not quite there. Let's go back to the ES. It was, right? It got up through the 20 MA, and it got right up to that area up there. Going back, it actually got up there. So it's tested it once already, and now prices are down. So that is certainly a choice. And you can go 44.90. It's 30 cents by 40 cents. It isn't much, but it certainly seems much more secure. And no matter what happens, I don't believe it could ever get through 4,500. But if it closed up there, you're gonna be in pain. Anyway, that's your choice down there. And you can go down to 43.50. I don't think it's going down there today. I think that, especially if this drops in the morning, which is already down, it'll gap down. Assuming it's there in the next 15 minutes, those premiums may increase a bit. And so, 43.50 or so, and maybe, depending on how much they go up, the premiums go up, which they might not. This is the crazy thing with these options, and if you're not aware, is that it can go in the direction you're thinking it will. But if it goes down there slowly, meaning some time goes by, it may not be worth what it is right now. And it's not like a directional trade where it's like, okay, it's down, and okay, this is my entry point. Regardless, that's where it is, where I'm going to short it, whatever I'm going to do. But with the options, the prices move around, based on time and volatility. So it's kind of puts a wrench in it. 43.70. I don't think it would go down there today, McGraw, because again, the turn day rarely results in a big bar to the downside. So we look at this and from historical norms, what's logical as far as how prices normally move historically after a break of trend and a retracement into resistance. And what I was, explaining before is that the uncertainty about whether it'll really turn or whether the power of this move up can continue a bit more, I think leaves prices getting stuck somewhere around this area. So yeah, 43.70, you're going to get more premium, of course. Will it go down there? I think it's unlikely, but what to do if things start to crater. I just, there's too many things coming this week, as far as economic news, Ched Fair talking, the other woman talking, whatever, I forget her name. But anyway, there's so many moving parts this week that I think that there could be intraday, relatively large moves intraday but who's going to want to commit in a big way? Yeah. So, all right, spiders commit in a big way. What that means is like a trending day, all going through support levels and pushing through them and small bounces and all of that. So 40, and one of the things that you should consider, must consider, is that when I'm speaking and we're looking at these levels, because I thought like last week, one of the days I was looking at SPX and it was down, spiders here, that was down near the low. And then Dan comes on 15 minutes later or so, it's trading up here, which is completely different opening price. So, the things that we look at 905, 910 in these different markets and seeing where they're trading, you have to reevaluate that at 930 and see, hey, well, it was down here. Now it's up here. So, that was one of the things that happened last week where it was, and I think it may have been even on Friday, where it was initially, it was down here and then it opened up here. And then of course, we know what happened. But just wanted to make that point. So we see it went down almost to 442, gapping down near the low of the green bar, obviously bearish. See where it is in the next, 10, 15 minutes or so. If it's really down there, is it up here? Is it below this Friday's low? All right, let's look at the rest. Qs already made a pretty big turn here. They were the weaker, not getting as far up into the resistance area. They're down here at major support. Look at all the pivots. All right, fluid moved down, breaks the low, it's going to bounce. All right, it's already stabilizing. Russell looked pretty decent. Overall, just a giant mess, but it didn't go down to the low, and big red bar negated, came right up to resistance, holding up here relatively well. Overall, just a big, giant trading range all year long. We already looked at the Dow and what that's doing. Transports, all right, broke through the 200. We're able to regain it, came up, coming up into the sell zone. And so it's going to be one of those days where, until things get into alignment, it's going to be erratic. Bitcoin just flip-flopping around here, came up It actually got through that 50,000, the breakout failure. It's got plenty of support down here. So some work to do to try and repair the damage. Oil just continues to do well. That has to go to $80, right? Just the strength and just the pullback and V reversal. So, one of the things I spoke about in the room the last week or two was, one bar reversals versus, turns that happen. And so this one is pretty interesting in that this bar came down deep. You see the cursor there on the hourly chart. And then we had the greater than 100% retracement and, reverse. So personally, I like to see these type of consolidations on the hourly, and many times where you just get a one bar reversal where it comes down deeper, right? Deep. This opens and goes much deeper. You don't get this kind of a pattern intraday. So you just get like this V, right? Just like as if this wasn't here. And in this market, they have gone up like that. But what we like to see is some kind of retracement and alignment of these time frames, which creates a much better setup in the time frame that we want to take that swing trade from. All right, gold just been awful, hanging down here. Kind of looks like it needs to go back down there, but it's just uncertain. A lot of whipping bars back and forth. Silver, down here near this major support. It's already reached its destination. It's just flip-flopping around. We'll keep an eye on that. And I always look at the ETF of the transports, and they got back up above their 200 as well, right into an area where there should be sellers. So everywhere we look, it suggests sellers should try and take control. Now, can they do it? And go into the day the same way we always do. We have a bias that prices aren't likely to trend in a big way. They've already trended, right, which we see. They've already trended down to support. So to go into this looking for a bearish trade at this moment in time doesn't make much sense to me. All yours, Dan.
Hey, Greg, give me 1 second.
Yeah, just reading what Peter said. There's gas lines and hoarding in England, and you had Costco coming out last week saying, "Oh, there's going to be a run on toilet paper and paper towels again." I don't know. It's a crazy world. Pretty darn sick. Yeah. By the way, let me get on Instacart and order some paper towels and toilet paper. I'll be right back. Kidding. It's nutso out there. And of course, the stock market's kind of nutso. There's too many things going on. And I even heard today they're saying, "Oh, it's really not 3.5 trillion. It's really, the reality is it's like 5 trillion. These people are out of their freaking minds. They're really not. They're evil. They're evil. And that's the scary part.
And they say, don't worry, it's paid for.
Yeah.
And they
paid for. And all right, the check's in the mail, so on and so forth.
And, they say, oh, well, some of these socialist programs expire in 10 years. When in your life have you?
I think it's 10 years. Over all the years that I've, paid some attention to politics, every tax cut, every this, every that is going to be 10 years.
Right. And exactly. It's no, once you give away candy and they get used to it, imagine the pitchforks coming out when you take it away. All right, enough of that. Actually, Greg, I just started working on our trade review on RCL here. So this is we have 2 open positions actually. We have a covered call and short puts. So all our opens look fine. In the video, we did a call spread that's gapping down, looks good. F slides on my short list. Apple, Apple and spiders, they're both sell setups. Apple is weaker in the sense of, look, spiders haven't taken out the prior day's low, and Apple is. But yeah, if our alarms go off, I think longs and shorts are fine. I gave SAVE, SAVE as a put spread, and that's actually gapping up. We're in Hawaiian Airlines, another beautiful breakout trade there. That's gapping up. Oil is up, as Greg mentioned. That's the best looking 15-minute charts. That's funny, Ken. Yeah, McGraw. Yeah. Tesla, we'll keep an eye on for sure. Yeah, big old wide range bar. It's holding very well. Yeah, Tesla was a beast on Friday. Gap down, came out of the gate. Look at that. Slicing through Thursday's high. Couple gappers here. 318. I don't know what the heck this is. Ride. Goldman came out and gave it a sell downgrade. And this is the one actually looked good on Thursday for day trade. But you're playing with accounting irregularities. I take that back. Not accounting irregularities, but a going concern problem, and that's pretty bad. Chevron here is up, but no pattern. But a number of these are, bullish weekly monthlies. So it's just a matter of getting on board on the daily. Here's a big old bottoming pattern, kind of reverse heading shoulders, left shoulder head, right shoulder, price void. That's gapping up to 141. Target 150 on the weekly, so that's worth watching. Vizio, I think, had positive mention in Barron's, 21 bucks. That's worth watching. Put that on a little window. Mercy, I was watching Friday. It's a little 1, 2, 3. It's a little bit on the light volume side, but that's a bottoming pattern. Be Big, I think it's a SPAC. That's worth watching. Nice gap up. We'll see what that does in 30 minutes. I'll put him over here. All right, continuing here. Hold. I don't like the way it trades, but something was up on that on Friday. SMG, positive mention in Barron's. Let's see one print up here at 148. McGraw, let's keep an eye on this for put spread. Hood. I was reading in the over in Barron's. They said that, and I'm guessing that's what made this perk last week, was they're getting into the crypto space more. I don't know. I don't care, but they're doing something there that they like. Greg, remember this Goldman short? That's the top Dow 30 right now, up almost $4. But it's a sell setup. But we were talking about it Friday, that it's not a potent turn. I wish there was more resistance to the left, and it's also bullish weekly. So that's moving up. Yeah, look at TBT. TBT looks higher again. David's asking about Amen. Amen. Are you sure that's the right symbol? There's no volume. I don't know what that is. And Thomas about shorting XLE. I surely wouldn't. I mean, there's no pattern. There's no reversal. It's grinding higher with a bullish 15-minute chart, bullish weekly. I sure wouldn't short that thing. Pen here. What I like about Pen is, the 180 reversal. I like the buy setup weekly, monthly. So Pen looks great. It's just a little, wow, Tesla just took out the high. Wow. That's still a beast. Yeah, Apple, we would do 5-minute low, Austin, on the call spread. And then F-SLY also. Yeah, Emmanuel, I mentioned that to Greg the other day when we've been hunting around for the beat up sectors like leisure jets and cruise ships and leisure stocks. I said, you know what, Greg, we got to keep an eye on those travel stocks. And that thing blasted. Look at our RCL doing fantastic. Our Boeing, we have a put spread that looks great. Yeah, jets and cruise ships are doing well. We nailed the entry. McGraw sent me somebody's alert, Greg,